When I wake up at night, I gotta know the time. Can I sleep some more? Out of bed I climb. Check throughout my work day, counting down to lunch. Looking at my wrist all day, checking the time a bunch. It's not just about the time, it's part of my identity. The character of the design, exhibiting my complexity. The colors, my mood. Rushed out the house without it, I'm screwed. Without my watch, feel nude. It's part of my life, it's who I am. I'm a big time watch lover, a huge ass fan. I know my phone has a clock, but I don't care. My phone lacks the flair. My watch shows my personality, my individuality.
Welcome back to the Spotlight Watch Review, everybody. My name is Jim, and today we're going to have a special blue box day from a very special brand called Aragon. I've only had a chance to bring out one or two here in the past, but Aragon is a brand that I've been close with for a number of years, and its owner and founder as well, and someone that I have a great amount of admiration for because of his incredible keen eye for detail and design. This watch is no exception. So I'm going to give you the warning right now. This is going to be a very positive review. This is a watch that I have fallen in love with to the point where I already sized it. I've been wearing it around all day just because it is absolutely perfect. It's a great size. It's a great fit, feel, weight, design, and the materials chosen, if you're the right kind of guy, are going to blow your mind. And what do I mean by that? This is going to be very EDC community oriented. This is the Aragon Evo 44 with the titanium Damascus dial. Now, just to get it out of the way first, the price. These are $370, and Wing has put these on sale for $215. When I asked Wing how much longer the sale was going to go on, that way I knew when I could get this uploaded. I wanted to make sure it was still on sale when I got to uploading it. He says, do what you've got to do with it, and when you upload it, I'm going to extend the sale so that the folks that see the video on your channel can still take advantage of that sale. So folks, there is no affiliate link, there's no coupon code, there's nothing kicked back to me. All you do is go directly to Aragon's website to purchase this watch, and you will automatically get it at the sale price. Nothing strange has to be done. Now again, for me, this was all about the combination of materials. As a matter of fact, I had initially seen in a Facebook ad that Aragon was running, they had an all ceramic watch, a different model, that had the Timascus dial. And I went, oh my goodness, I have to see that in person. I really have to see that for myself and know if that is what I think it is and if it looks as good as I think it does. It was, and it is. So when I started talking to Wing, he says, well, I do have other models as well that are made with the same dial. We're almost out of that ceramic one that you were looking at. So I took a look and I saw this Evo 44 and went, this is 100% up my alley. This is a classic diver's design. I'm a big dive watch person. This looks like something, as far as the shape of the case and everything, it looks like a Seiko or any number of other brands from the late 1960s with its overall shape and how slim this is. Now, it may not sound slim when I say it's 13 millimeters from case back to sapphire, but when you factor in this is a 500 meter professional grade diver, that is pretty darn slim. So we'll talk about the specs first, and then we're going to get a nice close-up look at the beauty of this watch. First off, you have a 44 millimeter case diameter. It's 51 millimeters from end of lug to end of lug, and 13 millimeters in thickness. The weight is 7.7 ounces with all of the links on the bracelet. I had to remove 2 for me to be able to wear it. You have a 120 click stainless steel bezel with a solid chunk of ceramic insert that is also filled with Superluminova. You have a 7-piece multi-link bracelet. It is a live multi-link. It is not one piece of steel that's milled to look like individual links. You have 7 individual links, or excuse me, components per link. And you have the scissor style diver's flip lock safety clasp. It is not the stamped interior clasp. So you've got a higher grade clasp on there. And then right there behind your exhibition case back, you will see the SII NH35A movement. That's a 24 joule automatic. And what I want to do right now is get a little more light over here and bring this dial up super close so you can see the beauty of this dial material. Now, the beauty in what you're seeing here is that the material being used for the dial is titanium. Now, there's a special process where the titanium is folded, forged, folded, forged, folded, forged, just like a steel Damascus. And that process is basically a titanium Damascus. And what you're seeing here are all the layers of the folding as they're forging it. Now, to see it on a knife, which is where you would normally find that, it's a different pattern. This looks more like almost like a Texas wind pattern of Timascus. This is extraordinarily expensive material. And then above and beyond the expense of the raw material, you have all of the work that goes into making it. The material has to be mirror polished, and then they hit it with a blowtorch to bring out all of the colors that you're seeing. All of the titaniums that are being used, all of the alloys that are being used in this matrix, they're all going to be different shades of gray or silver. And it's only when you heat it up with a blowtorch that you begin to see these colors. Where if you just had standard, regular old titanium, like the pivot that's inset into this bolster, you can use electricity or a blowtorch, electricity or heat, to anodize the colors. When it comes to the Timascus, and this would represent white Timascus, meaning it is devoid of any zirconium in the matrix, you would use the heat because that's what's going to bring out the colors that you want. And it really is beautifully done. Here at the 9 o'clock position, you have an automatic helium escape valve. You know, just in case you're doing any saturation diving. You and your friends are going out for a lively weekend of saturation diving, then you've got that on your everyday wear watch. I laugh a little bit because it's not something that you're ever going to activate, that you're ever going to need in a watch that you are wearing. Unless you work in that professional environment around those dangers all the time, then it's completely useless. But it's just like having a ridiculously fast car. You do not need a car that goes over 200 miles an hour, do you? No. But to say, I have a car that has the ability to do so, well, now we're talking about build quality and longevity and precision engineering. We're talking about how much better the overall quality of that car is over something that can't go over 200 miles an hour. So whether you're ever going to use that feature or not doesn't matter, but it does factor into the pride of ownership, as well as, in my opinion, the value, at least the intrinsic value, to owning that particular item. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the wrist because that's where it belongs. To me, this is the perfect size, 44 millimeters. It's a man's size for a man's wrist. It doesn't look teeny tiny, and it's not a giant, obnoxious, overdone size like 50, 52 millimeters. And there was certainly a time when a lot of us were wearing those big giant watches. And I did so every single day when it was popular. But I really enjoy that 42 to 44 millimeter size the most now. I think it looks the best, it looks balanced, and it feels good on the wrist as well. And there is a gentle curvature to this case that allows it to drape over the wrist. So even if you have a smaller wrist than mine, let's say you have a 6 3/4 inch wrist, this is still going to fit you comfortably. And that multi-link bracelet, it almost feels soft the way that it drapes over your wrist. So it not only looks really good, it's also very, very comfortable. Get a down the wrist shot here so you can see how it's laying on the wrist bone from lug to lug. Because again, that is 51 millimeters from lug to lug. And don't forget, you can always swap out your steel bracelet for any kind of strap, like a nice rubber strap you could put on there very, very simply, just by removing the spring bar that's in there. And this is certainly a watch I would love to play around with and play the strap game with, because I think you could do all kinds of different stuff. A beautiful royal blue strap to go with the dial. You could go with a brown strap. Brown always looks good up against the contrast of black in the black ceramic. Plus, with the magenta hues that are coming through the Timascus dial, you can absolutely wear brown up against that. Would look good. White would look good. Black. A lot of great options. Now let's take a listen to the bezel. There's about a 1/2 notch kickback. So when you're setting your bezel, you're going to go a 1/2 notch beyond where you want to go and then lock it back. And then once you've done that, it does not move. You got a nice gear pattern here. It's an angled gear pattern to be able to grip very easily. And the crown, I love this crown. It's beautifully knurled, so it grips onto your skin without tearing it up. And the threading of the crown tube extension and the crown are perfectly matched. It's a smooth, clean screw down. Nothing gritty or funky feeling about it. This feels like a much more expensive watch than even its full retail of $370. If you handed this to somebody and said, this is going to be $600, I don't think that you would have a complaint coming back at you. When you tell somebody, oh, it's on sale for $215, well, that's when they're going to start really inspecting stuff. They're going to want to make sure that movement's actually working, that there's no scratches and scars all over it. They're going to want to verify that, yes, that is a sapphire crystal on there, because it's ridiculous for $215. And I'll tell you right now, the materials alone on here are so expensive, I'm surprised they're $215. Now, I'm only harping on the price because there is a temporary sale, and by all means, buy it at whatever price you want to. I'm not really the type to harp on prices too much unless they're way overpriced for what I feel that they're worth, or they're way undervalued, which I feel this is. This is a really, really nicely done watch at a good value. And that's really what Aragon is all about. And sure, there are some wild, out there, crazy designs that may be just a bit too on the edge for you from Aragon. There may be some that are a little bit too classic and old school, because Wing kind of does everything. And then there's the centrists like this. Falls right in the middle. It's a classic diver. Looks like something that could have been around for the past 60 years and will always be in style. And I like that a lot. Now, they do have a lot of cool dials. They have an abalone dial. They have some mother of pearl dials as well. But I'll say this. What attracted me to this was this very rare dial that almost nobody works with. I can only think of one other watch brand that works with a titanium Damascus for their dial. And it is nowhere near this price. You could buy 4 of these for the price of their watch. And it's a fantastic watch, but is it worth 4 times as much? I don't know that I could say that comfortably. I like this for exactly what it is. Now, I think it's important to break out the flashlight and take a look at the Lume and see how it performs. And that's exactly what you expect from Superluminova. And that's exactly why Aragon chooses to use Superluminova, because it's never going to let you down. It's always going to be vivid, crisp, and bright, and long-lasting. So whether you're in zero light conditions or low light conditions, you're always going to be able to read the time. And the further you get away from the surface as you're diving down, the darker it gets. So of course, it's going to be practical for actual diving as well. That does look gorgeous. Great application, particularly here in this ceramic bezel. Overall, I think this is an absolute must-own, a true winner from Aragon. Perfect size, but if you want this particular dial choice, yeah, I wouldn't wait too long, because I'm sure those are typically the first ones to sell out. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me as always. I will be uploading much more frequently to the channel here. I have a stockpile of really cool watches to bring out to you. Some from Aviate, some more from Spinnaker. You guys know that I love Spinnaker quite a lot. And Cadola, Nubeo, and a couple of other brands that I haven't had a chance to bring out yet. I got in a whole bunch just so we could spend some more time together.